Oh, hey, I'm JJ.
And I'm Jessie.
And you're watching Confused.
Camp Out Edition.
And we're here to answer your questions. What do we got this time, Jess?
This message comes from Eric from Williamsburg, Ohio.
Eric writes, Dear Confused, I was watching a show about astronauts and the solar system and I was thinking, space looks really cool. After the show was over, I went and asked my parents if we could go on vacation to space. They said it was impossible to go to space. Why is it that we can go anywhere in the world but not go to space? Is space even real? Sincerely, Eric.
Oh man, I want to go to space.
Who doesn't? Just look at all those stars to explore.
And the constellations. And look, there's the Big Dipper.
And that one's Leo.
Are you guys talking about a pet lion? You know that's my dream, right?
Yes, we know, Seth.
And we were talking about the constellations, you dingbat.
You just call me a dingo? Nobody compares Seth to an Australian dog.
Quit being so dramatic, Seth. No one is calling you an Australian. Or a dog.
Yeah, we were talking about all the stars that form together to form constellations, that's to say patterns in the sky.
You know, I think I've actually seen constellations on TV before.
Yeah, and our pal Eric was asking us why we can't go to space.
Haven't I been to space before?
Oh geez, no, Seth. That was Spain, and you didn't go there. You saw a documentary on it.
Are you sure? It seemed pretty spacey to me.
Seth, only 536 people have been to space, and I'm pretty sure you weren't one of them.
Well, maybe someday.
Fat chance you don't have what it takes.
Jessie!
Seth!
Guys, calm down. We need to bring some intellect into this.
We need a lot of intellect to counterbalance Seth.
Well, you know what this means.
Ask the expert?
Yep.
Ugh. Am I gonna have to learn something?
Hi there, I'm Seth.
I'm David Ingram.
Nice to meet you, David. So let's just get straight to the point. What is space?
Well, it's a whole lot of nothing. It's a big empty space, as its name implies. Down here on Earth, there's lots and lots of things, and there's not very much space between them. When you get up into space, there's very big distances between objects, and there is very little by way of atmosphere at all up there.
You know, I can go up to town and get a burrito anytime I want, but why can't I go into space whenever I want?
It takes a lot of energy to get up into space. Imagine trying to climb the highest mountain on Earth, Everest. That's several miles high, and you're not quite halfway through the atmosphere at that point. So you've still got a long way to go before you get to what we would recognize as space.
Do you think we'll ever have the energy to where we can just go into space whenever?
Well, that's difficult because the amount of energy that's needed to get into space won't change. We have to find other sources of energy that are cheaper, essentially, than what the current sources of energy are, which are mainly chemical rockets that are used to get spacecraft into space.
What exactly is the universe made up of?
Or we know that about 1 part in 20th of space is made up of the materials that we see around us. The other we don't know at all. What we know is that, and we've known this for over 100 years, is that galaxies they seem to move around each other in a way where there's a lot more mass there than we can see. When we look into space, we see stars, we see galaxies, we see the light emitted by that matter. There's matter out there that we can't detect other than by the motion of these galaxies, and we call that dark matter.
Wow, so it's all out there, but we just can't perceive it?
That's right, except through gravity.
Oh, crazy. Now, another big question I had, kind of similar, is just why are spacesuits so tacky? They're so bulky and just not very stylish. And why is that?
The astronauts need to be kept safe when they're out in space. The spacesuits need to be resilient to any damage that might occur, so they're a little bit like a suit of armour in that sense. That makes up for part of the bulk. They've also got to contain all the air that the astronaut needs in some way, and all the water and all the communications equipment that they've got.
Are there any other livable planets out there?
Livable in the sense that we could put people onto them is Mars, and to some extent the Moon. We could build structures on those planets which would protect people from the radiation that's present outside of our atmosphere. But there is no atmosphere on the Moon or on Mars in a significant way, and so you've got to provide some structure which can contain an atmosphere that people could live in.
So is there any planets that have an atmosphere that people are just living on out there?
Not that we know of, no. We can't. We know that there are some planets that go around very distant stars, but we don't have telescopes powerful enough to be able to see if those planets are livable.
I was watching a movie the other day, and they were making a big deal about time and space, and it was all kind of confusing. I was just wondering, what exactly does time have to do with space?
Well, space and time are linked in the sense that motion is measured by how quickly we get from one place to another. Einstein, just over 100 years ago, linked together space and time in a theory that is referred to as special relativity, and the key concept there is that the speed of light is constant, and what he showed was that as you travel closer and closer to the speed of light, certain things go on in terms of a distortion of space and time.
And is the Moon made of cheese?
No. The astronauts and the space missions that have gone to the Moon and brought back rocks, and we know that those rocks are of the same materials as the Earth is made of.
I can't dip nachos into the rock.
No, sorry.
Oh, have you ever been to space?
No, I haven't.
And how do you know that it's actually real?
Well, as a scientist, I am able to do calculations. I'm able to look at other people's observations. I've seen reports by NASA of these things. I can calculate, for instance, how high the atmosphere is. I do that in one of my classes. And so one of the things that scientists have to do quite often is we have to be able to do calculations. We have to trust people are giving us honest data. And if everything is consistent, then that's what we take as being the truth.
I guess you could buy that. And, what's your favorite planet?
I think Venus. It's the brightest of the planets when it's in the sky. Other planets, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and occasionally Mercury, are all visible in the night sky. But Venus has the brightest appearance, and it's large enough in the sky that you can actually see a crescent shape at times during the year. And so it looks a little bit like a very, very small moon in that sense.
Over under on stars, more than 100?
Oh yes, lots more than 100. There's a famous astronomer known as Carl Sagan who had a phrase that there were billions and billions of stars out there.
Well, that's a little bit more than 100, I guess. Why do you think it's important to take an interest in space?
It's a way to satisfy our curiosity about things. One of the things that drives most scientists is curiosity. We want to find out what's there. We want to see what the rest of the universe is made of.
We're all about curiosity and questions here at Confused. Thank you very much, David.
Hey, Morty, do you want to hear a story?
Sure, what's it about?
It's about the planet Pluto.
I never heard of Pluto.
Well, sit down. I'll tell you about it. There once was a planet named Pluto. This planet was smaller than the outer planets, and because of that, all of the outer planets liked to mess with him.
Hey, give me my ball back.
Try to get it. He can't. He's too small.
What's going on out here?
We're playing ball.
Hey Pluto, can you come inside? I need to talk to you.
planets. I'll be right back. Hey, son, what's the matter?
Oh, well, I got some bad news for you.
What is it?
Well, it seems you aren't considered a planet anymore.
What? But I've been a planet since 1930.
Okay, well, according to scientists, a planet must have 3 features. It must orbit around the sun, myself, be round, and be big enough to be distinguished from other objects surrounding it in space.
Wait, but I am round and I do rotate around you.
I'm sorry, but you're just too small to be considered a planet. From now on, you'll have to be considered a dwarf planet.
But I am just like the other planets. This isn't fair.
Guys, did you hear that Pluto ran away? What? Why? The sun told him he wasn't considered a planet anymore. What a baby. Mars, how would you feel if you weren't considered a planet anymore? I guess I see what you mean. You must be really upset. Yeah, and it's our job to find him. Pluto! Pluto, we found you! We were so worried. Come back home.
But I'm not a planet anymore. You guys never liked me anyway.
That's not true. You're like a brother to us. We only pick on you because that's what family does.
Yeah, we didn't mean to hurt your feelings. If you come home right now, we promise we won't ever do it again.
But I'm not a planet anymore.
You're a planet to us.
Yeah!
And so, Pluto might not be considered a planet by scientists, but everyone else says he was.
Wow, so is Pluto a planet?
Not officially, but most people think it is.
You know, I was apprehensive about the whole space thing, especially because of how tacky the spacesuits were. But I guess the rewards outweigh the tackiness in this situation.
Seth, you can't possibly think you have a chance of going into space still after that, do you?
Yeah, Seth, even David hasn't been to space.
Wait! Are you saying that because space isn't real?
No.
Seth, Professor Ingram just told you that space is real.
You know, can we really trust science, though? It seems like pretty much a bunch of other people's stories and theories, and, you know, online the other day, I read a theory.
Science theories probably aren't the same as the theories you read online, Seth.
Yeah, Seth, those are probably conspiracy theories.
You know, I thought it was odd when Professor Ingram denied the moon being made of cheese.
Hey, Seth, I bet I can eat more marshmallows than you.
No way! Go!
Oh gosh, Seth, the creek, go get water!
I can't believe he forgot that he had a water bottle.
She's good to have on a rainy day, but I still really wish that we could see the stars even when it was cloudy out.
Well, you're in luck, Jesse. There's a place in Columbus, Ohio where you can see the stars even when it's daylight out.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, the Confused crew took a trip to COSI to see the planetarium.
That's really cool. Let's check it out.
So my name is Jason Wright. I'm one of the floor faculty managers, and what our team does is when you come to COSI, maybe you see a stage show like Rat Basketball or Chemistry Live, you go to the adventure exhibit, or you have a nice interaction with somebody in the hallway learning about a quick science demo. That's us. We're here to make sure our guests get connected to the science content covered here at COSI.
So my name's Tayo, and I'm the manager of theater programs here at COSI. Basically, that's a really fancy title, meaning that I work in the planetarium, I write shows in the planetarium, I present shows in the planetarium, and I work with the programming in our National Geographic Giant Screen Theater as well. I absolutely have an interest in space. I spend a lot of time talking about space in my day, thinking about space. But, I think anybody really that's, thought about the world, thought about their place in it, the Earth is just a very small part of our universe out there. So you kind of inherently have an interest in space if you exist on the Earth. So I think it's important to take an interest in space because, space doesn't just tell us about, it's not just astrophysics. It's not just the study of the other planets in our solar system or things farther out. So I think space and thinking about space gives you a perspective on your place in the universe that you really can't get any other way, right? It's without kind of understanding space and understanding the universe, it's hard to think of, the world as more than just a place that we live in. It gives you that perspective that, we're floating on a big rock 93 million miles from the sun somewhere in space. But, it's more than just astrophysics. Space gives us, lots of technology has been developed through exploring space, everything from Velcro to recent innovations in 3D printing. All of that is coming from the exploration of space.
One of the reasons why it's really important is because there's still so much more to learn about space and our place in the universe. So we need more scientists, engineers, and other experts to design, build, and operate the equipment we need to help us study and learn more. One of the things that I think is really cool you can see here is we have a live video feed from the International Space Station running in COSI. So when you're home at night, sometimes you can look up and you can see the space station pass overhead. But when you come here, we have a high definition feed of where the space station is over the Earth, and so you can actually look down and maybe you'll recognize things every once in a while.
So specifically in the planetarium, you can see lots and lots of things that you can't see in the night sky, especially if you're from a city. Light pollution causes us, on a really good night in Columbus, we can only see a couple hundred stars inside the night sky. But in the planetarium, we can see those couple thousand stars that are really out there in the night sky. We can transport you off the Earth. We can take you to any place in the solar system at any point in time. So really, there's so many things. We can really see anything in the entire universe in the planetarium, which is not something you can see just looking up in the night sky.
We now bring you another Facts for Fun with your host, Professor Cranium and Morty.
Hey, Morty, did you learn anything new in school today?
Yeah, I learned so many new facts about space. I probably know more than you, Professor Cranium.
Well, now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. What facts did you learn?
Did you know Venus is the hottest planet in our solar system?
Well, of course, Venus's surface temperature is over 450 degrees Celsius.
How about the sun weighs over 300,000 times larger than the Earth?
Yes, the sun is so large, 1,300,000 planet Earths can fit inside.
But did you know that the first animal launched into orbit was a dog?
Certainly. She was named Laika and was sent into orbit in 1957.
Oh. Did you know that a light year is how long it takes light to reach a place in one Earth year?
Well, yes, Morty. That's why it's called a light year after all. See, you can't stump me with your facts.
I bet you didn't know that all the other planets in our solar system could fit between the Earth and the Moon.
That can't be true. The Moon isn't that far away. See, if I carry this number here, and then if I carry this other number here, which will maybe let the number get into here, then if I put this other number here, and it equals... Oh, wow! You're right!
See? I was saving the good facts for right now. Just like the Apollo 11.
That's the spaceship that took Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin to the moon in 1969.
Yes, but did you know it took them 4 days, 6 hours, and 45 minutes to get to the moon? Did you know Saturn isn't the only ringed planet?
It's not?
Yeah, gas planets such as Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune also have rings, even though they are less obvious.
That's amazing!
Also, only 536 people have ever gone to space.
Wow! I have a better chance of being a professional athlete than an astronaut with those odds.
Yeah, and did you know, although the universe is 13.8 billion years old, our solar system was only formed around 4.6 billion years ago?
Wow! What other facts you got, Morty?
That's all I got for now, Professor Cranium.
Oh, well, I guess we'll have to watch more Confused to find out more.
This has been Facts for Fun. We now return to more Confused.
I think I see a planet. Yeah, that's Mars. Next I'll look for Saturn and its rings.
Yeah, but JJ, where did you suddenly get a telescope?
I always carry a telescope.
Oh, that's good. A little kind of odd, definitely kind of odd, but that's definitely good. We can learn from it.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, look, there's Uranus. Actually, it's set.
I was choking and you guys just made me run off? What?
Fight or flight. You flew into the forest, so we let you do you.
That doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough to disagree with you. And you know, after seeing that planetarium, there's no way space is real.
What?
I mean, I saw more at the planetarium than I ever do in the sky, and I can go there whenever I want. It's way more real than space.
Seth, have you learned nothing from this episode?
No, I learned a ton this episode. Like that dark matter's a thing that's not just in video games, and that even if space isn't real, it's important to learn about.
It is real.
All right, prove it. Let's have a race.
I don't see how that's going to solve anything, but fine. If I win, space is real and you're not an astronaut, but if you win, the opposite.
So you're an astronaut?
On your mark, get set, go! Well, that might be the best idea in the universe, but won't he notice that you're not in the race?
Once he gets back here, I'll tell him that I won the race a while ago.
Genius. Hey, did you see that?
No, I missed it.
It was a shooting star, Miss Jess. Make a wish.
I wish Seth had a jungle cat.
Interesting request.
Well, I figure it's the least I can do for him since he's going to come back and realize he's not an astronaut.
So do you think we answered Eric's question?
I definitely do. I mean, space is obviously real. It's just that we don't always have enough energy to harness and go up there whenever we want.
Well, maybe one day. Well, thanks for watching Confused.
I'm Jessie.
And I'm JJ.
Stay curious.
Wow, shooting star. I wish for a tiger. You know, hopefully space is real. Wow, here, kitty kitty.